South Korea's latest crypto murder has been all over the media lately, and because cryptocurrency and stocks has been such a hot topic and marketed as anyone can do it, and so easy, so many dangerous scams have been going around and even going as far as murder, like in today's case. Cryptocurrencies and stocks, you being able to exchange things in a matter of seconds within just your phone, has been truly a hot topic in the last, I say, 3-4 years. It seems like something that everybody is doing. It is marketed as something so easy, and I'm sure you guys watching have dived into some coins as well, and I have as well. They're all gone, y'all. Because the more time it goes by, I am thinking that it is very unstable and not something that I want to dive my money into, at least for now. I don't know about any other countries, but especially in South Korea, it is a hot topic that there are so many stock companies, so many people invest into, and in my opinion, majority of them has been known to be scams, and so many people have lost their life savings. The most recent scandal was involving Korean veteran singer Im Chang-jung. He's a very famous, successful singer in Korea, and himself and many other celebrities, kind of like the FTX scandal in America, there were celebrities that was hyping up, coaching people, like advertising that they should be investing into a specific stock or coin. Basically, just like most scams that you hear about stocks and crypto these days, it was almost like a pump and dump scam. And they promise you this crazy amount of return, and the scam is, in the beginning, they give you an actual return that you can cash into. So they target a lot of elders, a lot of people who are not knowledgeable in this industry, who don't study it themselves, which later in a lot of these scandals are known to be fake, photoshopped, manipulated, and later when they put now the real money, now their life-saving money, they cannot cash it out anymore. There's also a lot of finance influencers that are being exposed. Basically, they photoshop or fake and manipulate the exchange. They take people's money, they buy supercars and all these nice things, nice house right in the middle of Gangnam. So people are literally buying into the fake story, and this has gotten so out of hand that there's so many lawsuits, so many scandals involving exchanges in South Korea. In today's case, we're going to be talking about a specific coin called P-coin. There is a full, obviously, company name for this, but because of defamation laws in South Korea, they're calling it P-coin for now. And it got so bad that people who claimed that they really believed in this coin even scammed a lot of cancer patients, elders, claiming that there's a new cancer treatment that they only take with P-coin. Like, you're gonna be able to get this treatment. So people are using these for the most sinister ways possible. Remember, if you like more of these true crimes, a like in this video, sharing, commenting, everything helps to hit the algorithm. So let me know and give me power to continue reporting on these cases. So the Gangnam Crypto murder case is still an ongoing investigation technically, but it seems like we do know a lot about what really happened, and it's a warning to a lot of people out there who are buying into a lot of these false hopes. Gangnam in South Korea is known to be like the Beverly Hills of Korea. It's like New York City, Manhattan of Korea. It's supposed to be very safe. It's where all the big businesses are. Things there are extra priced, you know, coffee is expensive, and it's the hottest place you want to hang out at if you want to be the hottest, trendiest person. Gangnam is also known to have the most CCTV cameras out of everywhere in Seoul. So this is a place that's supposed to be super safe. There is nobody dangerous. I walk in the middle of nights before in Gangnam, and yes, it's a safe place. But on March 29th, 2023, an employee of Miss Choi, whom worked at like a finance company, took her home after a long day of work, dropped her off at the gate of her luxury apartment where she lived with her parents and her family. Miss Choi was 48 years old, and she's described as a super hard-working boss lady, confident type of person. She always came to office early. She's the first one in, never missing any meeting. She was someone that was very reliable, very bold, and you have to be kind of that person when it comes to, I guess, this finance industry. I think the company that she worked in was like an investment company that had to do with obviously exchanges, coins, and she was, I believe, almost the vice president of this company. So she was up there, she had some power. But the next day, she had an important meeting and she would never show up. Now, employees thought that this was super unusual because she never showed signs of being flaky, being late. She was always professional. So the employees called her phone. Her phone was off. So they ended up calling her parents. And her parents say that she actually never came home the other night. The employees found out that the police were actually looking for Miss Choi because she was reported as a missing person. And this started to shock everybody. Come to find out, Miss Choi would become the victim of one of the craziest cases that would happen in Gangnam so far. They looked at the CCTV footage around 11:45 p.m. on March 29th. There was a car and two men would come out and would drag what looked like Miss Choi out of the gate of her apartment, and she's seen screaming and calling for help, trying to do whatever she can to get away. But unfortunately, she was not able to overpower these two grown men. We were shocked because again, this is the middle of Gangnam. Her house, she was literally inside of her apartment, in her gates. There were witnesses. I mean, this is a luxury town that she lived in. So around 11:46 p.m., the witness called the police, and within about 45 minutes, the suspect's car were identified, and at 2:35 a.m., Miss Choi's phone is turned off. 2 days later, on March 31st at 10:40 a.m., the suspects would be arrested. First to be arrested is 29-year-old Yeon Ji-ho. Then second suspect, Hwang Tae-han, 35 years old. And third suspect, who wasn't at the scene or at the kidnapping, but whom the police thought was the mastermind of everything, was Lee Kyung-woo, who is 35 years old. On March 31st, she was not found yet, but in the police questioning, the two men that was involved in the kidnapping would confess and show the police where her body was buried. So unfortunately, she did pass away. And the autopsy would later show that there were severe bruises, and we will get to how she actually ended up passing away. People around Choi couldn't recognize them. Like, they didn't know who these two were. So were they random people or not? Shortly after, there were two more suspects arrested, and there were a couple in their late 40s and 50s named the Hwang couple. They were known to be a pretty big business couple, and the suspect Lee was the one who pointed to this couple, claiming they were actually the masterminds and not him. So pretty quickly, police figured out that the two men did confess and say that they did indeed confess to the murder, but only did it because they were threatened by Lee, and they were promised to be paid a large sum of money for doing the deed. But currently, Lee is telling the police that it was actually the power couple telling him to do the deed because he was going to be paid about 7천만 won, which is about less than 70 grand. The most important person in this case is actually Lee. Now, according to people who knew Lee, this guy was pretty greedy with money. He was someone that always wanted to start his own businesses and wanted to make a lot of money. He kind of wanted to be that wannabe entrepreneur. He started a gym but failed, and invested in cryptocurrency but lost a lot of money, including putting a lot of money on P-coin. So again, he fell for this P-coin and pump and dump happened, and he lost pretty much all his life savings. Lee still was known to be a pretty smart guy, meaning he used a lot of his brain to get things his way, whatever he wanted. And he was also part of the special forces when he served in the army. So also had a family, 2 young kids, and a wife. And the problem was that because he lost all his money through investments, cryptocurrency, and his businesses, that he was in a lot of debt. So about 2 years back, he went to Choi for help. Now, Choi at the time, again, was a vice president of another finance company. Then this company, they said, was one of the original investors for P-coin when they started out. And Lee went to Miss Choi and kind of said his sob story, saying that he has 2 kids, he can't take care of his wife anymore, his apartment is being taken away, and he has all this debt, and he cried. And apparently, according to the employees, Miss Choi was so moved and felt so empathetic towards him that she also teared up as well. So Miss Choi decided to loan him 1,000만 won, or about a little under 10 grand. Miss Choi really liked Lee as a person, so she even gave him a job at her finance company. He decided to help out with fitness for the other employees because he used to run gym. So it seemed like Miss Choi was really down to help him and help someone that was in need. Now, a little while later though, Lee would again ask Choi for another loan, and Choi decided to loan him again a little less than 10 grand. Now, within the span of 2 years, he asked Choi to loan him money again. And it seems like by this time, I'm sure a lot has been going on back and forth. Choi decided that she didn't want to help Lee anymore, and this is where it seemed like the relationship went sour, and Lee decided, if you're not going to help me anymore, screw you, bye. And fast forward to 2022, this is what police believe happened. Lee believed that Choi had hundreds of thousands of dollars in cryptocurrency and decided that instead of working for his own money, he wanted to steal from Miss Choi and wanted to get her password so that he could steal the coins from her wallet. So wrapping up to the kidnapping and the murder, the two suspects that apparently Lee hired claimed that all they were trying to do was to get the passcode from Miss Choi to steal the cryptocurrency from her wallet, but not actually kill her. And in the autopsy, it shows that she actually passed away from overdose of anesthesia. So too much anesthesia in her system led her to pass away. And according to the suspect, they claimed that they were just trying to kind of get her under so that she somehow talks about her passcode. And we later find out that Lee's wife is a nurse, and that's how he was able to get the product. Now, a witness came forward claiming that he was a friend of Hwang, the second suspect, the 35-year-old, and he says that back in October of last year, he remembers having a conversation with Lee and Hwang while drinking. And apparently this witness and Hwang were in a gang together, that's how they know each other. And Lee and Hwang in this drinking meeting were talking about how they can find a hitman. Now the witness thought that, they were joking, he was in a gang, so he hears this all the time and didn't think of much of it. And Hwang was the one who knew the second younger suspect, 21-year-old Chiho, and he was one of the guys in the town that had no job, that always was in debt, he didn't have money. So Hwang thought that this was a perfect guy to recruit him because he desperately needed money as well. And later we find out that even before the D-Day of March 29th, Chiho would be getting text messages from debt collectors that he needed to pay back the money. But despite 3 months of planning, police found it odd that all these three suspects just left clues everywhere. Like, they were so unprofessional when it came to doing this deed. First of all, where the body was buried was literally in an open camping area. Right next to it was a place for people to go fishing, where there was a beehive collector. I mean, this was near a campsite. This was not a place where you should be burying bodies because people will find out. Kidnapping her at her gates, at her apartment in the middle of Gangnam. I mean, Hwang was known to be in a gang all his life, and people who have been around him says that Hwang was a very precise person and he knew how to get away with petty crimes like he has been all his life. And Lee as well, he was known to be in special forces. He used his brains to execute a lot of plans. So the fact that he also, apparently being the mastermind behind this, being so loose when it came to hiding a murder, they're wondering, are they really the ones behind this? But one thing that they all have in common is that they talk about this boss, this 사장님, and they believe that this Hwang business power couple were actually also behind the mastermind planning. Now, the Hwang couple seemed to be heavily involved in the beginning of hyping up P-Coin, giving financial advices and directions on how and when to sell and things like that, and really heavily advertised this P-Coin and told people to invest in this. Then in December of 2020, the Hwang couple were accused of using market making. And from what I understand, technically, it's basically like a legal thing where you buy and sell things within the company to technically manipulate the market to make it seem like there is high volumes of exchanges to get the exchange started so that people will buy and sell whatever the stock or the coin is. According to the experts, this is technically not illegal because you do need some sort of an exchange in order to have some sort of volumes. But the question is, was this used to up the market and get things going, or was this used as pump and dump scam? That's something that really you have to dive deep into. Police have to do investigation, experts to see which one it was. So in December 21st, 2020, you see P-Coin spike up really high here. And they reached the peak of around 1,300won, so around a little less than $10. Now in the beginning, Miss Choi and the Hwang couple, especially the wife, were known to work with each other, again, being involved in several stock and coin exchanges, especially the beginning of P-Coin. And there's a phone call between Miss Choi and Miss Hwang, where Miss Choi is asking Miss Hwang, what's going on with the charts? Like, why is it all of a sudden skyrocketing? skyrocketing. Are you guys using market making? Now, of course, a little while later, all of a sudden from the peak, the coin price would drop drastically, leading to accusation that there was a whale that pulled out in order to make all the money, leaving all the other investors to pretty much die. I mean, there was one person who invested his life savings, about $300,000, and he claims that in today's price, he has less than $500 left of that. And when the price plummeted, Hwang couple decided to blame and point the fingers at Miss Choi. And Miss Choi, of course, strongly denied that she was the one behind this. Hwang couple decided to file a lawsuit against Miss Choi, which still was an ongoing lawsuit until Miss Choi passed, where Hwang couple claimed that they loaned or gave out money for Choi to take care of by putting 100 grand into P-Coin, and that now they wanted that money back. And this is where we enter Lee. Remember, he lost all of his money through P-Coin, and they suspect that Lee was on Hwang's side. Could it be that the Hwang couple and Lee decided to team up together to try and get something out of Choi, to try and get money out of Choi, and to try and pretty much ruin her life? And right before the murder, it is confirmed that Lee talked to Mr. Hwang over the phone once, and after the murder, the two met on 2 different occasions. But it's still a mystery that people wonder, would a Hwang couple with a lot of money themselves, a lot of different businesses that they invest into, kill Choi just for the lawsuit, just for 100 grand, a little less than 100 grand? It's not that amount of like crazy life and death money to people like the Hwang couple. So the mystery is, people believe that maybe Lee is using the Hwang couple as an excuse and pointing the fingers at them to lessen his burden and his involvement in this case. But police did uncover evidence that the Hwang couple did send Lee about 7천만 won, so less than 70 grand. So they're trying to figure out if Hwang couple sent the money to Lee for the murder, or maybe Lee manipulated the Hwang couple, saying that, hey, I need this money for whatever reason, just so that he can plan the murder out and later accuse them for it. Are you guys keeping up with the story? Like, how many sinister people are out there? Seriously. The saddest, craziest part is, police found that after Miss Choi passed away, she actually only had about less than 70 grams worth of cryptocurrency, and she still had all her coins. She did not sell them. So did they really not know this? Were they really that stupid to not even know how much money she actually has and decided to kill her for it? Or was there a different motive behind the murder? So there's another theory that police believe could be behind the motive. Again, no one is really telling the honest truth here. So right before Miss Choi's death, she was actually in the process of filing a lawsuit together to sue P-Coin and the Hwang couple. Now, apparently, Miss Choi, being obviously a bright, bold, smart person, she was able to get into contact with this hacker that was overseas, claiming that he had all this information and was able to hack into P-Coin CEO's computer. And allegedly, they found proof that the Hwang couple were indeed involved in the pump and dump. So they were in the process of bringing whoever this person, this hacker was overseas, even to Korea, file and like have this huge lawsuit. And in the lawsuit, Miss Choi also promised other investors that they're gonna try to get that money back from them. As of right now, nobody knows the real identity of this hacker yet. Maybe the police knows and it's not in the media, but everybody who was involved in the lawsuit and was on Miss Choi's side, they claimed that this was a crazy timing because this lawsuit was gonna be big. This lawsuit was really going to expose the Hwang couple and the P-Coin CEO. So was this a crazy silence or revenge murder by the Hwang couple so that they would not be exposed for what they have done? The Hwang couple right now are claiming that they're not guilty, that they're not even involved, but the police did uncover their identity, which in Korea, if the police uncover your identity and your face, it means that this is a serious case and they do have enough evidence against you. I think the whole crypto and online game could be positive, but as far as right now, we're seeing so much scams, so much pump and dump, and I don't know if I'll be trusting in all these new cryptocurrencies and stock companies that are coming. I mean, people are getting so greedy about money and so desperate that they would go to this length to steal your cryptocurrency wallet to try to get the password. So what's the truth here? Were they really trying to get her cryptocurrency? Was there a bigger plan behind this? My partner, who is a biggest business person, he has warned me, do not buy into these financial influencers. Maybe like some of them are really legit and know what they're talking about. I mean, it's just like the FTX scandal where you had all these celebrities and influencers telling you to buy this and that. People lost their life savings. People literally end their lives because of this. And in this case, nowadays people are literally willing to kill for money. Have you guys ever dived into cryptocurrency and stocks? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys in my next video.